Welcome to a new video, guys. Today we are at the beautiful Kenilworth Parklands. We're in the Sunshine Coast Hinterland and it's absolutely stunning up here. There's so many different great camping options around Kenilworth, but I tell you what, I think this is just about my favourite one. It's just immaculately maintained. Make sure you add it to your list. I think it's $15 per night per adult. There's facilities everywhere in terms of the portaloos and shower blocks and those sorts of things. Just if you're planning to use the shower blocks, bring your dollar coins, because it's $1 for 3 minutes and hot water, which I think is better than carting a whole heap of water. Now we're here today to talk about the Jawa Tarwarri 18. This is a real first for us, and it's actually a brand new prototype in the Jawa range. I've only made one of these before, but this one is significantly different. So the first thing you'll notice are these beautiful new decals that you'll see on the Tarwarri 18, and they just look amazing. I had somebody come up to me the other day, they thought it was a $180,000 van, so you'll be pretty happy when you see the price point of this one. Starting at the back, as usual, we've got two big spare tyres here. Your big van, you need a big family, so 1, 2, 3 bunks. There's not that many vans actually out there on the market with 3 bunks. They're really good length, 6 foot long. They're not super wide, but for your teenage kids right through to your young ones, this is going to be absolutely awesome. Now, you'll notice the tandem axle here. All level suspension under there as per standard with most of the Jawa vans. The tandem axle gives you the ability for the engineering to be up to an ATM of 3.5 tonne. So you can certainly get a big payload in this van. And obviously with 3 kids or 2 kids and those sorts of things, you're going to need that bigger payload. You've also got your 220 litre water tanks, which are individually filled. So it's good for weight distribution to be able to do that. And this is something I usually pass over when I'm looking at the Jawas, but the external shower with the shower tent, when you've got kids, you know, mucking around, playing in the river or at the beach and those sorts of things, you're probably going to want to throw this out to keep as much muck and stuff out of the van. All right, let's have a look at this part of the van. We've got our mains power connection here as per standard. We've got our input for our solar blanket. Now this is just a simple grey Anderson plug. I know I talk about this all the time. There's 300 amp hours of Enerdrive lithium in this van, but you really do need to carry your external panel if the kids are smashing their devices and charging charging and that sort of thing. You need as much power as you can get. 400 watts of glass panels on the roof as well. DRS, dust reduction system, all standard on this particular van. Mains water connection here as well. Now, I'm really coming around on this Mavo. I know that we said we weren't sure on it, but instantaneous hot water for your larger family and your larger family van is absolutely essential. It is heating the water. You can throw the 3 kids through the showers and have showers yourself. You're not waiting for a storage unit to refill and then heat up again. So thumbs up for the instantaneous hot water. Let's have a look. We've got double tunnel boots on the side here, and these run all the way through, so they're really good storage space to put your longer items, whether it's your brooms, your poles, maybe kids' boards and toys and those sorts of things that need that longer length, paddles and that sort of thing for stand-up paddle boards. So plenty of room. You've got a few services here that you've got to keep an eye on, and obviously that kitchen will come back in when we're travelling, so not quite as much space there, but this is a really good use of space in this additional tunnel boot. You know, given the 18-foot length of the van, you get a few extra goodies for storage. Generator slide, we've obviously just got our mat and block and shock kit and those sorts of things in there, but it's pretty standard on the Jawa range. All right, let's move around to the drawbar. There's something new on here for us as well. We've never had a diesel heater before, so this is the external tank for the diesel heater. Your pretty standard Infinity drawbar here, guys. You've got your two big toolboxes, your gas bottle holders. You can swap it out for a 9 kilo or a 4 kilo, and your Jawa drawbar, your Cruisemaster DO35 hitch, Park 750 Extreme Off-Road jockey wheel, a really well appointed outdoor tap, and you've got your external gas bayonet here. If you were wanting to run a barbecue clamp arm here off the drawbar here, really simple to connect that up and get it moving. So a few little Easter eggs here, guys. We've got a beautiful big pole tunnel boot on behind the toolboxes here. Heaps of room for your poles, for your brooms, all that sort of stuff. Now we've got slightly new innovation here above, and I'll show you the fridge slide in a second. You'll see that I've got my chips, tissues, and a few little goodies here. The beautiful thing is when we're inside there, you can actually access this little boot section here from the bed. So I could sneak a couple of extra beers here that Mavo doesn't know that I'm going to drink. I've got my bloody original sea salt. How good are original sea salt chips, I've got to say, especially when you're having a couple of beers. All right, so standard Evercool 95 or 96 litre Series 2 down under fridge. It has the ability to run as a single zone or dual zone, fridge, freezer, 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 fridge, fridge. Doors open nice and clear from the edge of the van. And these really nice, big, wide, enough room for saucepans, fry pans, woks and those sorts of things. So just boundless storage in this van, which Jawa are really synonymous for. All right, let's rock around to our outdoor living area. Now, we've got the big galley pantry like we're starting to see in a lot of the new prototypes from Jawa. It's a real winner. You've got these big deep drawers here. You can sort of see they're not quite a foot deep, probably about 20 centimetres deep, but heaps of storage room here. There's also a little bit of extra room here because instead of the pull-out sink, pull-out burner that we've seen on the Commander and the Sirocco and those sorts of things, we've actually got the Infinity style pull-out kitchen. So you've got the 4-burner hob, you've got your cutlery drawer here, you've got your full-size sink and your drying rack. I really like the configuration of this. Mavo and I were talking about it after we had the Commander. We actually missed the pull-out kitchen of our Infinity.
Much prefer a pull-out kitchen like this over the Commander and the Sirocco because it comes from the middle of the van. I just find you've got more space here to sit. Yeah,
that's a really good point. However, the beautiful part about the Commander and the Sirocco are these this galley pantry, so it's kind of all incorporated in it. I really like it. The other thing you're going to notice, I'll get you to point up, Mavo, there's a massive 5-metre awning with 3 arms. So you'll see on the other models, because the awning's slightly smaller, you'll only see the 2 support arms, whereas this one has 3 support arms in it. So beautiful big space. It's a full 5 metres. It extends out 2.5. You've got over 12.5 square metres of under awning space here, which is again pretty essential for your big family. So let's have a look over here. Pretty standard on the Infinity range, into the Tarwarri as well. But some nice shelving built in here. We've got our coffee gear, Mavo's photography gear. She's been taking photos all morning, so we'll whack some of those in.
Forgot to move those.
No, that's okay. And stubby coolers, whatever you want to put in here, guys. But again, good depth in here.
Yeah,
easy to lock away. And Mavo loves it, which means that I'm a happy man. Toilet outlets a little bit different on this particular van. It's locked at the moment. No one wants to see our toilet, but it is on the window. Oh yeah, toilet window. Yeah. So it's actually a poo with a view. How good. So let's jump in to the Tarwarri and have a look around. So as we walk into the Tarwarri, if you have seen our Instagram or Facebook stories, there was something we forgot to let you know about. So obviously with these big, there's a maybe, with these big bench seats there needs to be a table, and there certainly will be a table included in here. Yeah. We travel without the table. It's only the 2 of us. We are loving this 18-foot van and having all this space.
I came in here for the first time and I was like, I felt like I was in an apartment. It's so big. I was like, welcome to the apartment.
It wouldn't feel so big with 3 kids.
No, true.
All right, show us around maybe.
Alrighty, so you've got your king size bed. Love it. You've got an abundance of cabinetry here. So you've got your overhead cupboards. You've got plenty of cupboards in here with shelving. And then even underneath the sink as well, a 2-burner gas cooktop inside and also a little sink inside. So handy for those wet days.
Especially with 3 kids.
Yeah, especially with 3 kids. Your bunks, of course. Can't forget about the bunks. They're actually really quite spacious.
Yeah, so as I was saying on the outside, guys, 6 foot. They're probably only about 2.5 foot wide. But for younger kids, I mean, that's an abundance of space. What I really like about the...
Do you want me to get in there?
Yeah, get in there. What I like about the appointment of the bunks as well. Here goes a Mavo. What are you, about 5'8"?
I don't know. It's comfy though.
Is it?
Yeah.
I might get you to sleep in here tonight. And I'll have the king size bed to myself.
And you've got your own window. You've got your own Sirocco baby. Oops, that was the front door. You've got your own baby Sirocco fan, and it's got a couple of little different settings for how fast you want your fan. And also, it's actually quite safe as well, being a little baby Sirocco. You've got your USB ports and your 12 volt. Plus, every bunk has their own little lamp as well, all the same.
Nice. That's what you get out. She's pretty nimble for an old girl.
I am. What else? Oh, you've got your Jawa Smart TV, which comes standard as well. You've got your... Did we talk about the bigger Sirocco?
I don't think we did.
You've got your bigger Sirocco fans as well, which are fantastic. Absolutely love Sirocco.
Everybody knows that I'm big on the appointment, where the Sirocco fans are appointed in the van, and they're right at the midpoint of the van.
Yeah.
So you can get good airflow into the living area if you're sitting at the table here or cooking on the stove. You can also point it back to you as you're lying on bed, like I did last night watching the footy with a beer and some chips.
Yeah.
Big overhead.
Oh, I need to open that. We closed it due to the dew this morning.
Nice big open space hatch. There's your indoor unit for your Dometic dust reduction system, and
aircon.
As standard with all the Jawas, your aircon. Let's have a look in the bathroom.
Yeah, the bathroom's actually quite big. I'll let you show first. So you've got, it's combined obviously, so your sink and your toilet combined.
There's that nice window.
So if I jump in there, you can sort of see how much space you have. Obviously you move your toilet paper and stuff, and if you were going to, you know, this was going to be your van, you would deck it out obviously with towel holder and toilet paper holder and all the rest of it. But decent size shower head, and you can maneuver where you want it as well.
Hold this.
Okay.
You know how I was saying about the picturesque poo? I just realised though that instead of sitting on the toilet like a normal person, you'd actually have to sort of front mount to get the view out the window. But anyway, maybe you don't get a great view when you're doing a poo, but you do get a lovely breeze on the back of your neck. So you know.
Yeah, win-win. Then you've also got the rooftop hatch as well. So
extract and input. All right, maybe show the guys where I stash my chips.
Oh, the secret spot. You could put lollies and all sorts of things in here. Here it is.
You know what we need to tell the guys at Jawa?
What?
They need a little mini fridge that holds a 6-pack of beer.
That's a great idea.
And I can just grab my beer and my chips. How good.
So good.
All right, so as standard in this van, there's also a microwave, which I think is basically essential if you've got, you know, a larger family and those sorts of things. I used it the other night to reheat my roast lamb, and it was really good. Now, let's have a look at the control panel. First of all, it's really well situated in the van, a long way away from young kids reaching hands. I nearly need a step to get up here to get it. No, I'm joking. So here's the control for the Enerdrive AC transfer inverter. You know, relatively centered on most vans in the Jawa. This is just a great piece of kit. driving the 240 volt sockets for us at the moment because we're charging a few things here, all your main control switches and circuit breakers, and your water tanks here, both 120 litres and an 80 litre grey water tank. Your Clarion head unit in this particular one and your ePro battery monitor system is telling us how many hours we've got left in the battery on our current usage, 170 hours. That'll keep us going for a little while. And you've also got your controls for your diesel heater, which I showed you the tank on the drawbar. So let's have a look now at the electrical fit out, and then also we'll get in under this bed to show you some more storage. I know I harp on about this, guys, but this is one of the things that you don't really think about when you're at a caravan show or going from distributor to distributor and looking at different vans. There's so many details to take in that this is one that people often miss. These Jawa vans are beautifully appointed in terms of the 12 volt fit out and the lighting fit out. We've got a couple of GPOs, double GPOs in this particular van on the inside. So this is enough to do our chargers for our laptops, for our drone, all of those. Oh, we've got actually another double GPO over here as well. They're just everywhere, and they're really in really intelligent and well thought out positions. We've also got a heap of 12 volt charging points everywhere. They're your 2.4 amps on both sides as well, instead of your 2.1 and your 1.5s. And we've also got some more over here in the corner next to my secret stash space, and some others over here on Mavo's side of the bed as well. So just really well appointed. You saw some of the stuff on the outside of the van as well, so you're never going to be searching or looking for power points or charging points in this van. Now I'm going to move these Siroccos out of the way because it's a little bit harder to get under the bed. I just don't want to knock those Siroccos off the wall, so the guys at Jawa won't be happy if I do that. So let's pull this up. Now we've got access to our outdoor storage unit in here, which I think is another great idea. So you can be storing stuff that if it's raining and inclement weather outside, you can actually get to it from that tunnel boot, or get to it from the inside of the van as well. Now let's have a look in here. As I was saying, this is actually really easy to get to. You've got your internal unit for your hot water system and your water pump over here. Another GPO here with your circuit breakers and those sorts of things, and your beautiful big 300 amp hour Enerdrive BTEC lithium battery, your AC charger, your DCDC charger, and your 2000 watt AC transfer e-power Enerdrive inverter. So really, really well laid out. Easier to get to than the Commander, interestingly enough, since we the last van that we had. I just think this one's really, really well fitted out and really accessible. So that's about it, guys. Did I talk about the smart TV? It's standard in all of these, guys, but the Jawa smart TV, again, just more storage over here. I just, you know, this van is really well thought out for a larger family. It feels really big for us. Mavo, the minute she walked in here, started to think about, I'll rip the bunks out, we'll put a stand-up fridge in here, we'll put a separate shower toilet, all those sorts of things.
A curved lounge.
A curved lounge. At the moment, guys, there is no plans for the 18-foot tandem axle to be made into a couple's van, but I don't know. If there's plenty of feedback and questions around that, let us know, because you know, we're sort of thinking that this is starting to get towards our ideal size in terms of a van. Obviously at this side you need a tandem axle, puts your GCM and GVM up and those sorts of things, but it's just a beautiful van. It could be a great couple's van as well, unless maybe you want to have a couple of kids again.
No thanks, I'm done.
Now,
shop is closed. Just
one more thing that I want to point out with this van, and any van, guys, not just Jawas, any van that's tandem axle that has an ATM of 3.5 ton, you need to think about your tow vehicle's capability, particularly if you've got the 3 kids or the 2 kids that this van really suits. You need to have a think about your GCM, your GVM, and also your ATM and what your car's capabilities are. You need to also think about all the modifications that you've done to your car. So what does your car look like when it's fully loaded with fuel, with people and with all your gear for a camping trip, these vans do start to push the limits of your, particularly your dual cab utes and those sorts of things. You've got a Land Cruiser, a Ram, a Patrol or something like that, particularly if you have a GCM and a GVM upgrade done before Rego, then you're going to be absolutely sweet with a 3.5 ton van. But just if you don't know about all of those things we're talking about, please do your research. And I'm not saying that it's a detractor from this van whatsoever, but just to be safe, you obviously got the most important things in your life in this van. So just make sure that, you know, your kids and your Mavo. So just make sure you do your research and make sure you're going to be underneath your weight. So let's talk price point, guys. The Tarwarri 18, fully inclusive of everything that we've run you through as standard in this particular van, comes in at $85,000. Now this is the most expensive van in the Jawa range. However, it's significantly bigger than anything else in the range. That tandem axle and 3.5 ton ATM, and all of those standard inclusions, your AC transfer 2000 watt Enerdrive inverter, 300 amp hours of Enerdrive, your 2 big Siroccos, your 3 baby Siroccos, your diesel heater, your DRS, your microwave, your indoor cooking, aircon as standard, beautiful big toilet, and an amazingly appointed outdoor eating area. So the price point is up there for a Jawa van, but when you compare it to nearly anything on the market, this is, I think, really good value for that family. So, not to forget the Lovell's running gear underneath the van, as to have this space, to have all these inclusions, and to be able to travel with a large family in this level of comfort is absolutely awesome. So we're going to whack some photos of this beautiful campsite that I talked about at the beginning of the video. We'll do a bit of a drive around. If you haven't been to Kenilworth in the Sunshine Coast Hinterland, get yourself up here. The bakery does amazing donuts, not that the athlete that I am and Mavo would eat those, but it's just a beautiful little town. Beautiful campsite here at Parklands. As I said, $15 per adult per night. You can't go wrong. And just amazing sights for even a big van like this, and we've got a huge amount of space. So thumbs up. Alright, so it is late Sunday morning, so we're going to have to pack up. Mavy's making us a coffee before we do that, and we're going to sit around and have a quick chat around what we loved about the Tarwarri 18 and just little pieces of advice that we think for anybody that's interested in this particular van.
Yeah.
So, talk us through how to make a mocha pot, Mavy.
Oh, crikey. Alright, so first of all, so I'll just take a step back. Sorry, I'm in the middle of it. This is your mocha pot, and all you do is you need to fill up the mocha pot with water up to the little breather valve just here.
Yep.
Did you show that?
No. There's a little breather valve in there.
Yeah. And then you put your favourite, I'm sweating, sorry, your favourite coffee in. Might just give it a little bit more. And you don't push it down, but you just level it ever so slightly over the top.
The key is not to squash it down like you would if you were pushing it through a pressurised coffee machine.
Yeah. And all you do is you pop your lid on. This is a really old mocha pot. We've lost the little handle on the lid, but she still does the job, so we still use it.
You're really old and I still keep you.
And then you just pop it on the burner. Which one is it? This one. Okay, and then
make sure you keep the lid up, because you want to be able to see the coffee, and you'll see it in a second when it starts to brew through. So you want to be able to see it because you don't want to overcook it or burn it.
Where's the milk, Ant?
There you go. Better turn the inverter on, hey?
Yeah, I can do that. And then we just warm up our milk. It's a bit hot today. Don't know why we're doing a hot one.
Yeah, maybe an iced latte. We haven't got ice in this van though. Maybe I'll just run in and put the inverter on. This is one of the benefits of having a great 12 volt setup with big batteries and an inverter. You put it on.
Yep.
There we go.
And away she goes.
And away she goes. So, yep, we still use electricity just to froth our milk up. This little Breville machine has been on the road with us the entire trip, probably in the house for a couple of years. So yeah. it's had a hard life, but it's still working. So, you know, Breville isn't the most expensive coffee machine on the market, but if it does its job, it does its job.
It does.
So we're just going to come over here and keep an eye on this.
Yeah, we'll just keep an eye on the mocha pot. So while we're doing that, I feel like I've got coffee on my face. What do you think about the Tarwarri?
Well, I better turn around and put it.
Yeah.
To be really honest, I wasn't expecting to enjoy this van because it's just, you know, for the two of us who are touring all the time, it's more of a big family van. However, I've actually loved every second of it. It's a beautiful big van. I was a little bit worried about its towing such a big van after doing a lap with a 13-foot van, and this one's obviously got the tandem axle and is a bit heavier once she's all loaded up, but it towed beautifully. The only time I noticed that it was slightly different in performance to our old single axle van was sort of doing a U-turn in a tight circle. The dual axle tends to sort of crab across a little bit, not crab, but just sort of drag across a little bit if you're going too tight. But other than that, it's actually been awesome. The space is amazing, the bed is huge, everything's worked absolutely as it has. Actually, shout out to all the guys in the Windsor factory in Sydney. Build quality on this van has been amazing. So
so comfortable
overall, with the additional size, even, you know, after getting over the initial concern about it being difficult to tow, not difficult to tow, not difficult to reverse, sat behind the BT perfectly. As we said a little bit earlier in the video, guys, particularly if you've got a big family, just be conscious of your overall weights. And that's not a Tarwarri thing, that's overall tandem axles that are going to be engineered to 3.5 tonne. You're just going to need to make sure that your GCM, GVM, axle loadings and ATM are all in shape. What about you, little Mavie?
I loved it. I felt so comfortable in the Tarwarri. I could live in it for months. Ideally for us, we don't need the bunks, so we would like to configure that into something different and utilise that space.
What would you put in there, maybe?
I'd probably put in a bit of a lounge bench seat, more so.
Like an L shape or something?
Yeah, like an L shape. And I'd like to see separate shower and toilet and a fridge inside. So the Tarwarri didn't have a stand-up fridge, which I did miss from the Commander, and I know that that's probably getting towards being a caravan, but a hybrid off-road can still have a stand-up fridge. So I would love to see that. And my coffee is starting to brew. So
that is what a mocha pot looks like when the pressure builds up enough and the heat builds up enough inside to start to brew the coffee.
But I absolutely love this van. It's so much space. Like I said, I felt like I came in and I was like, welcome to my apartment. It's so big. Loved it. Would love to take it on more adventures.
Now, I almost broke the bloody Facebook group the other day when I called it a hybrid. Everybody's like, oh, it's not a hybrid, it's a caravan. You know what, at the end of the day, I don't really care what you want to call it. Yeah, it's got a hard roof and it's got a hard back, so there's no pop-out sections. Yes, it's tandem axle and those sorts of things. So there's a lot of caravan in this particular van, but it's also got a lot of hybrid in it. This big outdoor living area with the galley-style pantry. It's slightly narrower than a full-sized caravan. You've got your full off-roads with your Lovells suspension, and it really is designed, whilst it still will sleep 5 really comfortably with that big king bed and these triple bunks, it's still got lots of aspects of a hybrid. So yeah, as I said, I don't mind what you want to call it. Well, let's just agree to call it a hybrid caravan for that matter. But she's a beauty. It is amazing for families. I wish we had have had these sorts of things available to us when our kids were younger, because this would be the ultimate van to tour the country in.
Yeah, loved it.
Maybe should have more kids.
Absolutely not.
Oh.
Shop's closed.
Our Instagram poll's even saying that she shouldn't have more kids. They must know how old she really is. Guys, as I said, any questions on the Jawa Tarwarri 18, please point them to Jawa, guys. There is a lot more photos and those sorts of things that if they aren't on the website right now, they will be very soon. And yeah, get into it, particularly those young families. This is an amazing van to get out there. Giving me a love heart.
I can't do that. I'm no barista. There we have it.
Good job, little Maybe, and there you have it, a little barista style coffee.